and 4. The battle is on. It's going to be too close to call side by side. Wong Do gets it. Oh, we got contact. We got flips. We got big wrecks here. Going back to the front because we're racing back to the line.
William Page with the victory.
Looking for second here.
Musa's gonna.
Oh, he's going to use that apron.
He's gonna use the apron.
They're going to be side by side. Coming off the corner. Boy, back to the inside. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Tom Musa gets it.
Tom Musa, where did he come from?
Boyer trying to close the gap. He's going to get to the bumper. Oh, just barely did not make it. And coming off of turn 4, Jeff Sikenis is going to win it at Dover.
Before I wrap things up here in this segment, your thoughts on the type of race we're going to see tonight? And I would have to agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to tonight's feature presentation of the Indiana 200 here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As always, I'm your host, Joe Twansky. Alongside me tonight, he's been excited for this event. We're here at the most famous racetrack in the world. You got here a week early. It's Tommy Bordeaux.
Well, howdy, Joe, and hey, everybody there at home watching. Good evening, and indeed, welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, one of my favorite tracks of all time to watch Indy cars go around on. And tonight, we're going to be doing just that here with the ASRA National Championship Indiana 200, Joe. Should be a whole lot of fun.
It's the most prestigious race of the year in all of sim racing here with the Indy cars. It's going to be a fantastic show, folks. You're going to want to make sure you stick around. So don't hit that search bar. Sit back, relax, and watch some racing here on JTN tonight. Of course, this is the Indiana 200. 2.5 miles around this famed racetrack. We'll cross the yards of bricks 80 times here tonight. 50-degree weather. It's cloudy. It is definitely November in Indianapolis. And Tommy, boy, oh boy, it's going to be a fun show.
It should be a lot of fun, Joe. Certainly a different type of weather than we would see in May, and that could definitely play a factor into this thing, just how fast those cars go, how taped up they are, and what their gearing set out. It should be a lot of fun to see the competition out on the track tonight.
Well, and speaking about how fast these guys will go, Tommy, qualifying has concluded. Why don't you take us through tonight's starting lineup?
Well, all right, Joe, let me tell you, it was a very close field. The top 6 cars within about 0.3 of a mile an hour, folks. Very, very fine margins up at the top. And ahead of it all, Greg Irwin in the number 8 team got the pole tonight with a blistering pace of 216.352 miles an hour around this racetrack. Really, really quick to his outside, Josh Boyer in the 41 team with a 216.258. So just a tenth of a mile an hour separating the top 2. Really, really close margins there. Back towards the rest of the field now, Sean Fay in the 24 with a 216.206. Herman Reese in the 59. Ricky Bumbelow rounding out the top 5 tonight with Roger Nebelsick and Rich Napick in your 6th and 7th positions. Wade Driscoll, Tom Faskhaus, and Ron Milkey make up your top 10 starters tonight, followed by the 7 car of Hartman, Dan Rubino in the 44, Tom Musa, and Steve Rubino 13th and 14th, with Doug Palmer and Rod Weston making the field complete tonight.
Great field of drivers, all of which want to claim this, the Indiana 200. They're going to have to, well, Tommy, they're going to have to beat defending race winner Josh Boyer, who won this race just 364 days ago last year. So Boyer definitely has the repeat on his mind already. You talked about it, qualified second by, what was it, 100th of a mile per hour. So it's that 41 car looking stout, despite being late unloading here tonight.
Yeah, a little bit of delay there, getting that car off the trailer and into the garage area to work on it. But luckily, I think they've got a good piece. Again, they've got that great notebook from last year's race here. They know what to expect. And we've seen repeat winners at Indy before in real life, especially this year with a 4-time winner in Julio Castroneves. Who will add their name to the list tonight? Maybe it is Josh Boyer once again. We'll find out.
Boyer is the only previous winner here in the Indiana 200 tonight, so he will definitely be one to watch going for 2. There's that 85-year-old Ricky Bumbleau. Bunch of good-looking liveries out here tonight, too, Tommy. I mean, these Indy cars, they're going to be screaming around this racetrack, and, well, we wouldn't have it any other way here on a Monday night.
No, I absolutely love IndyCar as a series, and obviously this track. It's iconic. It's a pairing that's made in heaven, really, and it's been a staple of motorsports in America for generations at this point. It's so cool to be able to broadcast one of these races with you tonight. I sure am looking forward to it.
Roger Nebelsick in the 51, and Tommy, I believe it's time to get this race underway.
Well, you bet it is, Joe. Pretty exciting. All the nerves, all the tension building up in these drivers, all happy hour long, waiting to get onto the grid. And now, as you wait to start your first pace lap around here before the race begins, it all becomes second nature to you. Just making sure you got your car set up right, you know your way around this track, and you know who's around you to make those moves into these corners.
Here, Dave Despain given the command to fire up these engines, and we get ready to go racing here from Indianapolis. Crowd getting one final look at these drivers, and Tommy, these cars, they're terrifying to drive anywhere, let's be honest. But here at Indianapolis, there's just that extra level of fear that has to go through your veins.
Yeah, Joe, these things are on a knife edge. You're really balancing speed and stability around these corners, and that's one thing that all these drivers are going to have to watch out for, especially in dirty air. If you get caught behind another one, that front end on that race car is not going to be making the kind of downforce it usually does. So you've got to lift off a little bit and set yourself up better for the corner. Otherwise, you're going to be headed into that really difficult, hard concrete wall on the outside in the straightaways.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the one track that, no matter where you grow up in motorsports in this world or whatever form of racing you take part in, you want to win at this track. It doesn't matter if it's on the oval or on the road course, but tonight, these drivers have the chance to win on the most historic, the most famous race course in the world. Ada Greg Irwin won the rights to the pole. He'll be on the bottom of row number 1. Josh Boyer and Sean Fay, the other two in that front row. Green flag, we're underway here from Indianapolis.
Well, let's see how this field strings itself out. Those 3 wide starts can always cause chaos and calamity. So far, so good through turn number 1, Joe.
Everybody looking good, starting to get strung out. We're single file. Back to about the 78 of Wade Driscoll. He's on the outside of the 33 of Fast Cows.
Driscoll, that outside line, not going to be very advantageous through turn number 3. Way up high out of the groove. Looks like he's going to get around, though. So an interesting run there for Driscoll around the outside. Looks like that high line might actually be in effect here at Indianapolis. Not a usual thing, Joe.
Did a really good job there through turn 3 to complete the pass, but now that 33 going to charge it back hard on the inside down into 1 and 2.
Here comes Dan Rubino in the 44, trying to make a move on Hartman. The 7 gets kind of close through turn number 2 there.
Oh, contact.
Oh, they touch. And they gather it back up. Very scary situation right there.
It's definitely not what you want lap 1, or lap 2, I guess. Early on, doesn't matter.
These cars flying around the speedway at well in excess of 200 miles an hour. And for our stat lovers at home, for your speed charts here, that lap that Greg Irwin just turned our pole sitter 2 miles an hour faster than the one he set in qualifying. So these guys are really pushing it here in the race, and looks like we already got a retirement, Joe, before of Musa actually out of the race.
Oh my goodness, they were having trouble in the garage before the start of this event with getting that car to fire. Wonder if something went wrong in the motor early on in this one.
Well, that leaves us with 15 challengers, and they're all chasing Greg Irwin at this point, Joe. 14 of them, I should say. Although things are definitely tightening up at the front. We had a little 3-car breakaway towards the front with Boyer and Fay, but now the rest of the picture kind of filling up with other drivers.
Really good start to this race so far, Tommy. I mean, these guys, they are doing a great job. Boyer continues to look to the inside, trying to find a way around Irwin for the lead. That 8 car looks a lot like Machina Connor Daly with the Air Force branding.
Daly led a lot of laps in that race, and I am sure that Irwin's going to try and do the same. Here comes Boyer looking to the inside on the front straightaway, but not going to have enough. Had a little bit of a run out of turn number 4, but not quite enough to make the move. Joe, you've got to be so careful with what moves you choose to make and what moves you don't. It's a 220-mile-an-hour chess match to pass your way through the field here.
And the draft works so differently here at Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, it does. You got to be very careful that you don't get right up next to someone in the corners, because you're going to lose that front air that I talked about at the beginning of the show. And I'll tell you what, down the front straightaway, though, it could be a whole different beast. It can suck you back for miles.
Well, just completed lap number 5, working lap number 6. Want to thank all you folks for tuning in here tonight to JTN for the Indiana 200. Can't thank you enough, as always, for spending some time with us here on a Monday night. Make sure if you haven't already, hit the like button on the video, and make sure you're subscribed while you're at it. Keep getting those numbers up and up and up, and can't thank you enough for all the support.
Joe, last year's winner of this race, Josh Boyer, I think he wants to get around Irwin in that 8 team. He's really looking to the inside everywhere he can at the end of straightaways. Maybe he has a run, maybe he doesn't, but he's just peeking out, letting Greg Irwin know that he's there, right? He's got the speed and the pace to pass him, and he wants to get around him. Trying to get in that number 8 car's mind a little bit, Joe.
Part of that chess match, right? You want to make your opponent think you're going to zig when you decide to zag.
Absolutely. You got to be careful with the moves you do make, though, because I'll tell you what, if you get stuck on the outside, you might lose 1, 2, 3, maybe even more spots. So you got to be very strategic for when you make the right moves as well. Speaking of moves, Herman Reese in the 59 on the back bumper, or the back wing, I should say, of Sean Fay. Look to the inside, Fay guarding that low side. Here comes Boyer for the lead.
Down into turn 1, Boyer completes the pass. He takes the lead here, working lap 8 of 80. So just about a tenth of the way into this race, and Josh Boyer is taking over the lead, and we got a bunch of racing further on back.
Yeah, Ricky Bumbolo lost a couple spots there, hung out on the outside. He's got a group of cars. Rich Napick there in the 6th trying to get around him. And there goes Bumbolo back on Tom Fastcow's for that 5th position.
Looked like a little bit of contact there for the 33. It's the outside wall. Napick now trying to go on by as well. Catching some of that slipstream off the 85. Bumbolo almost contact with the back wing of the 59 of Herman Reese.
Yeah, getting pretty shifty around there. A lot of guys trying to race hard for these spots. There's not a whole lot of room at these amount of speeds in the corners. Meanwhile, back up front, Sean Fay got a run on Irwin down the front straightaway. Irwin having to defend now. Those cars going into turn number 3. Looks like Irwin's going to try and get this lead back, or at least trying to get back in Josh Boyer's head a little bit there.
Caution is out on the speedway. 33 around. Comes back up in front of traffic, but doesn't look like he's too worse for wear. Let's get you a replay. He's going to do one of those little sweet kick kickflip 360 grinds on the outside wall, it looks like.
Pretty impressive to do that in an IndyCar and drive away, I must say. Quite robust for that Skoll team.
On board with the visor cam. I don't think you're supposed to be looking at the track that way, Tommy. Backwards and on your side.
Yeah, maybe after the race when you're celebrating and going crazy, but certainly not in your race car and not on lap 10.
If we see a driver win tonight, are they going as crazy as Ben Rhodes on Friday night?
Well, perhaps, but maybe with some milk instead, I might tone things down just a little bit.
Well, most of the field's going to come down the pit lane. Rod Weston going to stay out. We're going to have short, abbreviated cautions here tonight, so Weston will stay out, and he will most likely not get another opportunity at the pit lane. Let's see if those pace car lights go out. Like they're staying on.
I do believe this is still going to be a two-stop race after this pit stop, so these guys are not going to be done quite yet with coming down pit lane, and who knows, it could be under green flag conditions. We've seen those decide races here at Indy many times.
The weird part, the limitation of NR 2003 the pit stops here at the IndyCar is just, it always makes me laugh seeing them get jacked up on the sides.
It is quite humorous. But speaking of pit stops, how about the job by Ricky Bumbleau and crew getting out first and retaking this lead, actually taking the lead for the first time tonight for that 85 team.
Was it a gas? Was it fuel only, or was it two tires on that car?
Let's go take a look and see what they did, because they did come out with a huge gap ahead of the previous leading group. Looks like it was just two tires only, right sides. A unique bit of pit strategy there in an Indy car. Helped that 85 get to the lead.
I was going to say, you don't see that too often, huh?
That's right. Well, of course, it's got to go through Rod Weston first, and the 19 staying out, so...
Yeah, those base car lights are off, so we will go green flag this time at the line with Rod Weston out front of the field in the NOS Energy Drink. Chevrolet. Took me a second. I had to pull up the entry list. Maybe not. I think we're going to stay under yellow. Hope to catch up.
Well, one more lap of yellow here gives us some time, Joe, to thank one of our supporters out there, Circle B Diecast. And how can we support them, support us?
Well, you can help support Circle B Diecast, support us by heading on over to their website, circlebdiecast.com, making a purchase of $20 or more, and then using code JTN at checkout for free shipping on your order of $20 or more. Circle B Diecast is your home for all your racing-related memorabilia needs. Do you want to get... Maybe you're looking for some IndyCar diecast. Well, they got them. I know I have Elio Castroneves' Indy 500 raced win, or Meyershank Racing. Got that car on pre-order. You can too. CircleBdiecast.com. Code JTN to check out. Free shipping on your order of $20 or more.
I got to see a show car of that Indy 500 winner down at the Long Beach Grand Prix a couple months ago, which was pretty fun, must say. Nice looking machines, these Indy cars they got going on these days.
They do look pretty good, don't they?
They do, and I'm looking forward to the next generation of these as well, with a more incorporated aero screen. It already doesn't look too bad, I must say, especially when you compare them to the Halo at an F1. Either way, that important piece of safety, as it gets more integrated into the designs, I think is going to look seamless. These cars already look like they're fighter jets on the ground, but I think even more so in the future they will.
We are crawling right now, waiting for this base car to catch up.
It's still on the backstretch, heading into turn number 3, cruising at a solid 85 miles an hour, just above highway speeds, folks. But not the fastest thing out on the speedway. The star of the show tonight, here it comes. Catching back up with the field, running through the field. Don't worry, no collisions there. Hoping to go green the next time around when we're able. Perhaps they still have the celebrity pace car driver in there. Didn't get the memo. Well, Rod Wesson going to take that opportunity to come down pit road. Now, remember, he stayed out that first time around. So that will give the lead to Ricky Bumbalough, who, Joe, with that unique two-tire pit stop, is going to see himself inherit the lead.
It is definitely, like you said, it's unique, right? I don't know how wise it is to kind of get the unequal tires on these Indy cars. I don't think you want that big of a grip difference with a car that's already, like we talked about, on that razor's edge. It's going to be interesting to see, though, because if this strategy works out for him and his team, then maybe some of these guys make a similar call later on in this race.
Well, Joe, something really, really crucial here in Indianapolis is track position. It is difficult to pass here, you know, more so, I guess, probably in real life than here in our 2003, but nonetheless, track position is so vital at this racetrack. So anything you can do to help you out, I think, is a good investment. And we'll see if this two-tire experiment works out for the 85 team.
Well, that takes us to our first poll question of the night in chat now. Who will lead the most laps tonight? Josh Boyer, Ricky Bumbalough, Greg Irwin, or vote out there and tell us who you think will lead the most laps tonight in chat. Bumbalough with control here on the restart. It's got Sean Fay right behind him in that 24 Wix Filters machine. Then Josh Boyer, Greg Irwin, and Herman Reese, your top 5. Back down and away we go. Green flag is out once again here from Indianapolis.
Sean Fay had a very good restart there behind Bumbalough, able to stick on him a little bit there. Fay was making some moves towards the end of that first run before that yellow. How about that Wix car, Joe? It's got some speed in it, it looks like.
It's got some speed in it, but we know another guy that's always fast. Josh Boyer now looking to the inside as we head down the back straightaway. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get there. He ducks back in line into 3.
At the very least, Fay knows Boyer is there. He took a higher line entering turn 3, and that's going to affect him a big time there. And so move Boyer back up to second place, and now on the tails of Fay is Irwin looking to take back 3rd position away.
A mean shark tooth machine there for Irwin. He takes over that final podium position, move him back up to 3rd. Fay falling back quickly here. Have to think that maybe they tried something there on that pit stop that's just not working out right now.
Speaking of whether or not things are going to work on pit lane, here comes Boyer back to the lead, trying to get it back from Bumbalough. The question was, how would 2 tires work out for Bumbalough? Well, he did get the lead for a lap there, but eventually 4 tires have prevailed. Irwin also goes through following Boyer. Here comes Fay. Might have enough, at least next time by.
I love hearing these cars scream around this track.
It is pretty awesome, if I do say so myself.
Just a good noise.
Now, if you're one of the folks that voted on that poll for Josh Boyer leading the most laps, you're a happy camper right now. Uh-oh, big time problems.
Oh my
Irwin
goodness.
Flying in the air.
Back of the track, big crash, 4, 5, 6 cars involved through turn number 4. And Tommy, that is the first big incident of the night.
That was a huge incident, Joe. We had a little bit of liftoff there for Irwin in that 8 car. It looks like a fighter jet, and for a moment it turned into one. Unfortunately for the rest of the field, it flew right back onto the racetrack.
Here you see a replay contact, a little bit of contact with the rear and front wings, the 85 and the 8. Big damage, though, being sustained by the 8. Who was riding the guardrail there? It was hard to tell from this camera. Let's get you.
Well, that has got to be one of the wildest crashes I have ever seen. That car was flying through midair, Joe, and I'll tell you what, man, you know, poor Greg Irwin did not have much to do right there. You can hold the brakes all you want. That does nothing when you're in midair. All 4 tires off the ground.
Like Dan Rubino involved, Mike Hartman involved, Rich Napick involved, 60 Milky involved. Let's go on board with Danny. Rubino keeps it going. These other guys not as fortunate.
Well, there were some hard impacts to that outside wall, though, after Irwin dropped his altitude a little bit and came back on soil.
That crash happened right about where I was sitting in July or August. My goodness.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of crashes in our time broadcasting, Joe. That's got to be one of the weirdest ones. I don't think we've seen a car float in midair before.
No, I don't think that's something too common.
During this replay break here, I should mention everybody coming down pit road, 4 tires. So that is going to help us get pretty close to being able to make it on one more stop, but it might be just a little bit of a stretch. Boyer up front, clutching that engine a little bit there, trying to save as much gas as he can.
You can really tell too when these guys are saving, those cars will sink down into the ground a fair bit. So, like you said, Tommy, this could be what gets us in that window. It also, you know, could just be the start of a crazy next, 60 or so laps. Remember, folks, can't thank you enough for tuning in here tonight to JTN. I'm Joe. He's Tommy, here bringing you the action for the American Sim Racing Association Indiana 200 here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the biggest race of the year. Its home is right here on JTN. Make sure if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to find more out about the ASRA as well as the TMP Racing League, head on over to their websites. Got both of those linked down in the description below. Tommy, we talked about the ASRA website. It is fantastic. Definitely worth a read. Always a bunch of good, always a bunch of good articles and stuff posted up there. Race recaps and whatnot throughout the season.
Yeah, Joe, we mention it pretty much every time we come here and broadcast in this league, just how great the website is and how easy it is to access all the information that I wanted tonight on driver rosters, car files, the track for tonight, the mod. Really, really impressive and well organized, and it's very much appreciated up here in the booth, and I'm sure if I was a driver in this league, I would appreciate it as well. So great work by all of them for putting that on. And Joe, looks like the pace car lights are out once again. We should be going greens here shortly.
We do have one retiree out from that incident. It's Rich Napick in the 6th, not able to continue with that damage sustained from getting battered into that outside retaining wall.
No surprise there. That was a hard hit.
It was a hard hit. There were a lot of hard hits there. Josh Boyer, though, he's going to have control. He's got Roger Nebelsack behind him here for this restart, coming at you on lap 20 of 80. Back down and away we go. Green flag once again here from Indianapolis.
All right, so Josh Boyer leads in this restart, and typically we see that 8 car of Greg Irwin there nearby, but way back in the pack after that incident. We'll see if they have damage to that car, or if he's still going to be able to keep the fast pace he had, of course, our pole sitter for tonight.
Back, Steve Rubino looking to the inside of Tom Goodman in that 33.
Irwin in the shadow of Dan Rubino here, so he's keeping up relatively well with this field. Of course, that's very important to stay in the draft. I think if he was alone by himself, that may be more difficult, but nonetheless, looks like that 8 car has still got some life left in it, didn't have to retire, and that's pretty impressive to get airborne and stay in this thing.
Almost contact there between Doug Palmer and Steve Rubino down the back straightaway. Went off of turn 2.
Yeah, the bright yellow car of John Palmer there to the inside, trying to get around. Indeed he does. Boy, a bright yellow car and a Marlboro car here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's classic.
There's a couple thoughts coming up with those, aren't there?
Yeah, it definitely is.
That Fanatec car of Rubino looks, like you said, looking like the Marlboro car out there. Back up front, though, Tommy, we missed it. Pass for the lead. Roger Nosek has taken over. Herman Reese now in second. Josh Boyer in third.
How about that? A fresh face at the front there. Herman Reese was making some good moves early on, but he hasn't been in this top 2 position since. And he's following Nebelsic, who took that lead away from Boyer and is experiencing the first time out front tonight, but it may be short-lived. Here comes Reese to the inside.
That 59 Cadillac with a big run down the front straightaway completes the pass down into 1. Nebelsic going to try to slide into third. Weston, though, aggressive move to get underneath them down into 1. He makes it work. He goes into third. Nebelsic still falling back.
Yeah, and Boyer able to slide on through as well, right behind the 59 of Reese. So here comes Boyer looking for the lead once again, trying to make his...
Oh, big wreck. Nebelsic in the wall. Sean Fay involved. Nebelsic up and over. He's getting hit once again.
No. And more contact there for the 8 car. Involved again, and Nebelsic, after that hit, went spinning like a top, 4 wheels off the ground. Second time tonight we've seen something like that.
I believe we've seen a couple more drivers retiring too, Tom.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to do it for our pole sitter. Tough night for Greg Irwin.
Looks like something went out on the right front. He was going straight into the wall. Just looks like Nebelsic thinks he's clear of the 24. Comes down, 24 is there. Is that what you're seeing too, Tommy?
Well, Joe, mentally, when you're getting passed by everybody, especially when we're just in the lead, it can be a little bit frustrating. You just want to make sure you keep your spots, and, you don't want to give up anymore. And unfortunately, right there, just trying to maintain that position resulted in quite a hard hit for both Nebelsic and a couple other cars.
Yeah, nothing there for the 8 to do. He got hit by looks like the 7. Hartman down into 3. Bino involved as well as Ron Milkey. It looks like he jumped on the brakes. This changes things a little bit, huh?
Yeah, it is most certainly a one-stopper from here on out. So these guys will be able to make it with fuel. And I'll tell you what, everybody coming down pit road taking advantage of just that. Boyer stops just for fuel, and I think he took right side tires, Joe, so he's out and away.
Out, down, and away. We'll retain that lead for the first time tonight off the pit lane.
Yeah, just fuel for that 41, so of course not too many laps on those tires, so being able to use them to retain that lead again for the first time tonight.
Herman Reese gonna slot out in second, then it's Fast Cal's third, Weston and Bumbelow your top 5. Well, Tommy, this is the Indiana 200 tonight, but we also have a bunch of great racing coming up here on JTN. Next broadcast for us, you and I, we're heading out to Kansas. The All-Star Racing Cup Series this Wednesday night, 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time from that one. Then it's about a week off there for us here on JTN for the first time in a long time, with the All-Star Racing Cup Series on November the 17th from the Martinsville Speedway. So some short track racing to decide who will be in the Final Four there for All-Star Racing. Then it's the Hobo Modifieds from the Bullring West on November the 18th, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. USORL Retro Series heads to Pensacola, Florida on November the 20th. 10:45 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. So some late night racing for us on a Saturday night. Then November the 23rd, the Hobo Racing Cup Series season finale from the Phoenix Raceway, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. Of course, all those races live only on JTN, and thanks to our partners at TWB Technologies, because together we are better.
Well, that's right, Joe. And in a couple weeks' time, going to be crowning some champions. Certainly, championship season, a very fun time all around. And that Kansas and Martinsville back-to-back races there for the ASR League is going to be pretty exciting. You know, we saw Todd Wilson be able to lock himself into the Final Four, but there's still 3 more spots up for grabs, and who knows who it's going to be.
I don't think anyone does.
I certainly don't know.
I know it was rhetorical, but, you know, wanted to answer it. So Boyer with control here. Herman Reese and Tom Faskow, your top 3 for this restart, coming at you on lap 27 of 80. Again, a lot of clutching right now, Tommy. Guys trying to come in clutch, saving that Speedway racing fuel. Field makes their way off of turn number 4, down to the yard of bricks. Green flag, we're back underway here from Indianapolis.
Well, all right, Joe, let's see if Boyer can hang on to this lead. We've seen a good advantage there for those guys starting 2nd and 3rd. They've been able to make their way towards the front and take over, but ultimately the guy who's done that the best probably is Boyer, and now that he's out front, we'll see if anybody has anything for him. Herman Reese there in 2nd. We've seen him take the lead before, get close to it. We'll see if he can do it again.
Out front, historically not good. Here at Indianapolis, you really set yourself up for passes, right?
Yeah, definitely. That draft around the long straightaways here, both the front and back straightaways, can certainly be important. And when you're following a car for that long around here, you get a really good run on them down into turn 1 or turn 3.
Pass for 3rd, it's Weston going to the inside of Faskow's. Palmer going to follow him through. Weston into the outside wall, though, coming down the back straightaway. That's going to allow Palmer to go up into 3rd.
Wow, how about that? Doug Palmer and that 108 team, they made some moves to get up to this point, and now sitting in that podium position, looking real good here after starting towards the back of the field. So that 108's been on a good drive. Speaking of good drives, Herman Reese he's getting closer to Josh Boyer up front.
And he's been able to get around him, right? He's been able to try to find his way around this 41, put him in positions where he's not comfortable, but Palmer now doing the same to Reese, going down into turn number 2. Not enough this time, but he's looking to the inside down the back straightaway.
Palmer looking to make some big moves here as behind them, Weston got all over the place a little bit there. Almost looked like he tapped into the wall, scrubbed at least a little bit of speed on out of 2.
Reese down.
Hits the curb there on the inside of turn number 3. That's going to let Doug Palmer go to 2nd place.
Allows Weston to get on by for 3rd. There goes the 85 of Bumbleow. It's really hard not to confuse the 85 and the 34 here tonight. Thanks for that, guys. There goes the 34, Steve Rubino, too. Faskow's now on by. Wade Driscoll now looking for the position. This 59 falling back quick.
Yeah, Joe, this is what I talked about, getting hung outside here at Indianapolis as a jet sequence. Remember, it was just about a lap ago we thought Herman Reese might be able to make a move for the lead, and now just a lap and a half later, pretty dire straits for this 59. And corners, I suppose, too, not just straights.
Gets back in line. That'll help him kind of regroup here. Is now Doug Palmer all over the back of Josh Boyer, hounding him for the lead.
Boyer cutting across the 108's nose on entry to make sure he retains that position, but that 108's not going away anytime soon. A bright yellow car of Dog Palmer in second place right now has driven his way up through the field, and he wants more. Weston looks like maybe a little bit of contact and back into the wall.
Bumbelow down to the inside, first, third. As back up front, they're slicing and dicing Bumbelow down onto that curbing. He slides up, he's in front of Weston, and Boyer continues to just chop the nose, chop, chop, chop on Dog Palmer there in second.
Gotta be careful. That was the last incident in this race of Nebelsick coming across the nose of another driver on the entry to turn 3, so gotta be careful with that move. But being aggressive here, almost to the halfway point in this race in 9 laps time.
Well, and here comes Ricky Bumbelow in that 85 Marlboro machine. Looking to the inside now, Dog Palmer down the back straightaway. Boyer defensive line. We're coming up on lap traffic. That's that 51, and Nebelsick, he'll stay high. Kind of forces them to go single file.
Bumbelow taking advantage of Boyer's draft a little bit down that back straightaway. You see he peaks down low. Bumbelow on the back straightaway was able to use it, but now Dog Palmer's going to try and use it to take the lead side by side into one. Palmer on the inside, Boyer on the outside, still side by side, but give the lead to Dog Palmer in that 108 car.
Palmer to the front, working lap 33 of 80. Boyer now all over the rear wing of that 108. They're jostling behind him, though, trying to find a way around for second.
And we know how fast Josh Boyer is, last year's defending winner of this race, so he wants to get back in that lead and get that crown once again. He's going to try and do it this time. Bumbelow following Boyer down way low towards that wall. You see that a lot at Indy, and you're seeing it here. Boyer back to the lead. Here comes Bumbelow along with him past Palmer.
It looked like Bumbelow thought about taking it 3 wide there for just a second.
Yeah, just a smidge, but a little bit too early to do that. We're pretty much strung out now, but we got a lot of cars together. And as you've seen, the moves that these guys were able to make tonight, really impressive. There's a lot of great racing going on here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Of course, you can only catch it right here on JTN. Again, can't thank you enough for tuning in here tonight. It's been a fantastic night of racing that's going to continue. We're going to continue our coverage here of the ASRA and CMP Racing League all throughout the winter. You're going to want to make sure you stay tuned for it. We've got a bunch of great racing coming up for you. As Steve Rubino looking to the inside of Dog Palmer behind for third. We'll go back to that battle. He's going to get help from Rod Weston in the 19. Nope, Weston goes high now down the back straightaway. Herman Reese, though, creeps back into the picture inside the top 5.
Just crazy, Joe, how fast things can change. Dog Palmer was a superhero, making his way up through the field and to the lead, and now he's on the edge of that top 5. And meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, Herman Reese has found his way back up to 4th position, so a lot of great racing here, man. These cars are flying everywhere, high speeds, passing folks, pretty incredible. Speaking of high speeds and passing, here comes Ricky Bumbelow, really, really close now to Josh Boyer, trying to take that lead.
Bumbelow is moving and shaking all down these straightaways, just trying to find a way to get that front wing to the inside of Boyer, where Boyer can't continue to kind of move around. Right, here he goes, tries again to the inside. He's there, going down into turn 3.
A really, really low entry taken by Bumbelow, though. Not going to be great for his momentum, but that shorter way around is going to get the job done.
Baby.
Barely. They're going to be side by side in the front straightaway. 2, almost 3 rows deep.
Boyer holds on for now on the outside. Battle for second. Steve Rubino looking to the outside of that 85. Not going to be able to do it. He gets back in line further on back. Rod Weston getting passed by Mike Hartman. Wade Driscoll also creeping into the picture in that 78 Chevrolet.
Got these top 8 all together, and they've traded a whole lot of positions, Joe. They're all about within half of a second of each other. Pretty incredible margins here for these drivers who are well over 218 miles an hour at this point.
Bumbelow looking to the inside of Boyer once again down the front straightaway. He's going to get some help from behind. That's Steve Rubino in the 34. Those 2 liveries looking the same, and they're both looking fast as Bumbelow hits the grass.
Gotta be careful. Don't want to upset that car on the inside a little bit. We've seen guys lose some momentum on that curbing down below in the corners. and that can be really scary. Your car might whip around you very quickly if you're not too careful.
Up on that 51 and Nebelsack once again. Flying by him.
Really close there. Herman Reese just pulled right in front of Doug Palmer to hold on to that position. These guys are getting pretty racy here. Not quite halfway yet.
And once we get to halfway, that first poll of the night closes, so make sure you get your votes in. Who will lead the most laps here tonight? Josh Boyer, Ricky Bumbleau have Greg Irwin on there, so maybe if you voted for him, I don't know if you can change your vote, but you'd probably want to change your vote at this point with that 8 car being already retired in Gasoline Alley.
Boyer all the way to the inside grass on the back straightaway to try and find some way to get around Ricky Bumbleau to lead these laps, but that 85 car hanging tough up front.
If these race car drivers don't tell us at the end of the race, we already know that they want to be in the lead with the moves they're making, the way they're just trying to find that little bit of grip through these corners, that little sniff of draft to find a way around the guy in front. It's been a fantastic display of driving, of precision, and it just continues to amaze me, Tommy, right now, especially as these tires are starting to wear, how much control these guys have over these race cars.
Yeah, despite all the crazy moves and the high speeds, all of these drivers have done a really good job on this run, keeping it clean so far. As I say that, big problems with the front straightaway. Bumbleau up and over, Boyer spinning, rolling in the air. And that's a huge caution at the halfway mark.
And we award points there at the halfway mark too, Tommy. We didn't say it, but my goodness, as Boyer is retired, this calls for a replay.
Just a huge incident right there coming to the halfway point in this race, and for Josh Boyer, the worst end of it all. That 41 team going to be disappointed they can't go back-to-back here tonight.
Like the 19 of Weston was doing some wheelies there down the front straightaway. Tommy, who's even left?
Well, Joe, we still got some cars left. Of course, you know, the 51 of Roger Nebelsack was damaged, and we saw him still out there, so it's possible to run, but damaged. So, although Boyer the only one so far to retire from that, as far as cars that are still going to be in contention and have the performance available to them, don't know, that number might have slimmed down quite a bit.
On board with the 34 here, riding in third. And I mean, Tommy, just from that, it kind of looks like two drivers just misjudged it there coming off the corner.
Yeah, and of course, I just had to say how clean things were going despite the close conditions, but right there, just a little too close, unfortunately, overstepping that boundary, and well, it resulted in another huge accident here.
Doesn't look like Bumbleau might not be too worst for wear. And 85, obviously still some hard contact with the outside wall. He didn't get hit again, despite those cars flying over the top of him.
Well, Joe, I was going to say, you know, it was looking really good there for Josh Boyer to be our most laps led winner. But at the halfway mark at this point, you know, given that we've had a lot of different leaders throughout this race as well, that's not set in stone by any means. And certainly with that 41 being retired out of this race, really shakes things up here for who's going to lead the most amount of laps and who's going to win that community poll.
Well, that poll has closed and Boyer won it, as we closed it at halfway, Tommy. So, I think this is one of those situations where the house just wins.
As it always does.
It always wins. Nebelsack coming down on the second pass by Rubino. Dan Rubino, that is. Also, so he'll surrender the lead over the 59 of Herman Reese. Breathtaking breathtaking crash indeed, Gene.
Yeah, there have been a couple of them this race. That's just incredible what these cars are doing after wrecks, and it's just, man, it's crazy, these guys. And luckily, the good part is that, they're able to walk away here out of their desk chairs and away from their computers and be okay. That's the best part of it all, but man, hard impacts for sure.
Man, oh man, oh man. I don't think I've seen wrecks this crazy in a long time here in Indianapolis. What's the one that I can really that I think of? It was, I forget what year it was, but Dixon in the Camping World car down at the south end of the Speedway.
That's right, him and Jay Howard, I believe, in the 77.
Sounds about right. Field coming back to green. Herman Reese with control. We're back underway in a drastically different race now, it feels like, here for the second half.
Certainly anybody's race at this point. Of course, our pole sitter and our second place starter and last year's winner both out of the race now. So Herman Reese leads the field in that 59, but right behind him, a hungry Steve Rubino in second place. And someone we hadn't talked about too much tonight, Wade Driscoll in the 78 team now in that third position.
Hey, sometimes it pays to just stay out of trouble early on in these races here at Indianapolis. You never know when the big wreck might happen. And Driscoll in that 78, he did a good job through the first half of this race. Going to try to close it out here tonight with a victory.
Back in the field, I think we have a lot of cars damaged, Joe. They're all battling here in a scramble.
Well, I usually, the only thing I like scrambled are my eggs.
Right, yeah, well, this is cars now. And I don't think all those accidents have gone over on them very easily.
You're telling me that crashes hurt the performance of these race cars?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what,
I would have
they're
never
not
guessed.
supposed to go halo side up. Or, wait, they are. They're not supposed to go underside up, I'll tell you that much.
Hey, you got it eventually, right? That's all that matters.
That's right. Speaking of getting it, this top three have really broken away on their own, and that's got to be worrying if you're Bumbelow or Dog Palmer back in the pack. It's a couple seconds behind now. I mean, you got to question whether or not they're going to have what it takes to catch back up here towards the front. I don't know, especially with the way these cars are working together, drafting. They're not really fighting each other yet. That's got to be a good sign if you're in the top three, not so much if you're outside of it.
Well, and Tommy, I think this is the perfect time to go ahead and post that last question of the night. Who do you think will win the Indiana 200? We're just gonna leave it with our top three right now. So out of these three, Steve Rubino, Herman Reese, Wade Driscoll, who do you think will win tonight's running of the Indiana 200?
After this race got flipped on its head, Joe, who knows what's going to happen? I'll tell you what, these top three are in a good position, but we've seen crazier things happen before, and certainly there's no telling what's going to happen the rest of the way. Right now, things are pretty tame up front. You know, a lot different than we saw earlier with a lot of guys being aggressive. I think at this point, they're just kind of, they have a good advantage right now over the rest of the field. They want to capitalize on that and, of course, get to the end of this thing to race it out.
Is it? But now you have less cars now too, so there's less energy, there's less momentum that you can get rolling to try to make a pass for the lead. If a window opens, if you have that opportunity, I think you got to take it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, on that flip side though, Joe, if you do make a move, and it doesn't work out, at least you're not going to lose a whole bunch of spots like we've seen earlier tonight. So you have a little bit of leeway there. You can get back in line quickly. You don't have that many cars to pass again, and you can kind of make your way from there. But, man, I'll tell you what, I'm liking what I'm seeing from this group not being too aggressive. I say that a lot because I don't like when drivers way too aggressive early. It's a long race, and truth be told, Joe, we still have just over 30 laps to go on this one, too, so there's plenty of time left. You don't want to take yourself out early like we've seen a lot of drivers do already.
Tommy, as we head into the last 30 laps of this race, what is the narrative?
Well, Joe, so far this race has taken a couple unexpected turns. It hasn't always been the fastest car that's been the successful one here tonight. It's been those guys that have been able to avoid the incidents, be patient, and try and make their way methodically up towards the front. At this point in the race, with a lot of cars damaged and off pace and splintered groups throughout the field, you're really looking at a race that is being defined by this three up front. Herman Reese in the lead in that 59 car. Second place, Steve Rubino and Wade Driscoll in that 78. This is really, I think, if this goes green all the way, where your winner is going to come from, Joe.
I mean, I have to agree with you on that one, because right now these three have broken away from the rest of the field by quite a margin. If we go back to the rest of that field, Tommy, most of them just now coming into turn one, so they're about a corner and a half behind right now. All lined up single file, but all with some sort of damage here late.
And they've got a lot of work to do if they want to work together too, because the numbers are pretty close to being even. Even if they weren't damaged, they'd still have a hard time making up that track position. About 5.5 seconds they're behind.
Is there really any way they can make it up?
Well, I mean, they've got to hope for a caution, really. I mean, under green flag positions, it's going to be hard to. I mean, the only other thing I can really see them doing is getting an advantage on green flag pit stops, maybe one or two of them at least to work together, and just hope that these guys up front get to racing or don't have good green flag pit stops so you can make up a little bit of ground. You can definitely make up a lot on pit lane, as our leaders here are going to come up on the lapped car of Roger Nebelsack. Steve Rubino's been looking just a little bit like he wants to make a move around Herman Reese, but nothing concrete yet.
Yeah, Rubino's got some speed right now in that 34. It just doesn't seem like has enough to do anything with it. That makes no sense, and I know it doesn't, but just run with it, folks, okay? Just run with it.
Well, we're well within that final window to make it on fuel here, so I would imagine that I don't think we're going to see them just yet, but pit stops are going to be on the horizon sooner than later, I think, Joe.
Yeah, split up these last 40 laps. We went back green just over halfway, right? Split up these last 40 laps. That way, you're not going too long on the tires on either run. These Firestones are rather good here at Indianapolis, so, you know, I don't need my Speedway race fuel too early, but I also don't want to be stand out there too long. As Rubino looks for the lead down into one.
Well, here we go. Taking a lunge at it there. Steve Rubino to the point for the first time tonight. So that 34 team saying, I want this lead. And since getting it, a nice momentum boost for him. He's pushed way out in front of Reese as they go around Hartman, the lapped car, up high.
Is a big lead a detriment here, like it is at, say, a NASCAR Superspeedway?
I don't think so. I think it's actually a really nice thing to have. There is definitely that drafting portion that, you know, second place and third are still going to be capable of catching up to you, and perhaps they get a big run off of it. But I really think there is a point where the lead becomes insurmountable. The draft isn't as strong, and you're just out of the range where it can be a factor for you. So for Steve Rubino, he was hoping to get there. It doesn't look like he will just yet, though. And Herman Reese still in a good position to capitalize on the momentum he is going to gain by catching Rubino if he so chooses.
If you're Reese, maybe you wait till these pit stops. You want to maybe come down second, see what that 34's plan is, too. So there are benefits to being the guy in second, because if you're leading and the guy behind you comes down the pit lane, you can't course correct for that, for sure. As Reese getting a big run here down the front straightaway. Not going to be enough to make a move to the inside, but right now, Tommy, I mean, it's these top three, and then it's just everybody else.
That being said, though, Joe, that group has caught by about a second since the last time we talked about them. Catching ever so slightly, and it's not, anything crazy, but that pace is definitely there if they can keep working together and maybe hold that group after green flag pit stops. One thing you got to watch out for, Joe, these cars are so fast when they come off the track out of turn 4 to come to pit lane. You've got to be very careful making that transition onto the apron and slowing down for pit lane.
Yeah, these cars, they get a little squirrely under braking, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and especially in a group, you never know what that other car is going to do.
They'll be looking like squirrels looking for nuts in the fall when they come down the pit lane, scrambling around. Steve Rubino still leads. Herman Reese second, Wade Driscoll third. This is JTN's coverage of the Indiana 200 live here on the Johto Network. I don't know why we said JTN twice there, but we did. Can't thank you enough for tuning in. I'm Joe. He's Tommy. Have a bunch of great races coming up for you, so that's why you want to make sure you're subscribed to us right here on our YouTube. You hit that bell icon, you'll get notified anytime we go live. Another, though, great way to stay up to date with us is to make sure that if you haven't already, head on over to our Twitter and our Facebook. And like those pages, because we post anytime, any day. We are going live. New episode of the Fake Racers podcast coming out later this week. All-Star Racing on Wednesday night, Tommy. Bomb Squad just ended last week. We crowned Ricky J, the Cup Series champion, Nelly, the Xfinity Series champion there. Wrapped up their season, but we still got a bunch of great racing throughout the winter.
Plenty of good stuff coming your way. Pretty excited to be a part of it, and I hope you at home are as well, tuning in for these racing events here on NR 2003. And here comes Steve Rubino, lapping the 60 of Milky there. Heavy damage sustained in a earlier crash, about 20 miles an hour off the pace. So these guys are still out here, but boy, Joe, unfortunately for a lot of these guys, does not look like the night is going to be theirs.
It does not, Tommy. It does not.
Steve Rubino is leading, but there's Herman Reese right on the tail of Rubino, making a look to the inside, Joe.
He's there as they head down into one. See if the 34 backs off, gives him the position. He doesn't. He sends it there on the outside, maintains the lead. So Reese falling back to second. Driscoll now trying to challenge him for that position.
How about that? So there was an example there of Herman Reese or any driver really just trying to go for a move, but didn't quite have it. The lucky part, though, is in that small group and able to recover a little bit from that unsuccessful attempt and didn't lose a whole bunch of spots like we might have seen earlier. That being said, Joe, 4 seconds now, the gap back to that second group. Ever so slightly they are catching, and they do have a shot at this thing if they're able to get there under green flag conditions, but that all-important question is, what are pit stops going to make this field look like afterwards?
Yeah, it's just 20 laps to go at this point, Tommy. 4 seconds. They've gained a second in 20 laps. It's going to be a tall task unless these guys up here get a little more racy.
And down to 3.5 seconds right now, Joe, so they are closing.
They get within a second, right? That's where they start picking up that draft?
That's about where they need to be, so they're 2.5 seconds away from that, and at that point, well, all of a sudden, we've got a race in our hands.
Herman Reese down the pit lane. He crashes into the outside wall. He's around.
Oh, look out! Oh, no! And a huge accident on the front straightaway, still wrecking. Oh, no. Car stuck upside down. That's Weston. And, Joe, I told you the perils of pitting under green flag here at Indy, and you saw exactly what we thought might happen.
9 jumps on the brakes, gets loose. Driscoll does a good job getting to the pit lane. He's around there. Weston, Bumble, no. Looks like they were jumping on the brakes, got loose. Weston, though, caught in the catch fence, takes the tow back to the pit lane. Another crazy wreck here tonight.
Doug Palmer looks like he might have spun out of turn number 1. Under pacing, not sure really what happened there. Looks like he might have gotten some help a little bit there from Tom Goodman Not sure what that's all about. Maybe just a little bit of an accident right there, so... Oh, and trying to avoid it, Joe, was the 85 of Bumbalo. So some extracurriculars here, not intentional, I don't think, but either way, this is definitely a race-changing incident.
Extracurriculars are good when you're trying to get into college, not good when you're in racing.
Yeah, not quite.
Once again, damn, just again, cars flying through the air once again here tonight. Let's talk about those extracurriculars. Happened with the 108 down here in turn 1 under pacing. Looks like he's slowing down. 33, high rate of speed, just clips him. Goes around.
Well, Joe, this is going to set the stage for us for the end of this race. Everybody at this point, good on fuel, good on tires. No question about it. I don't think we're going to see anyone come back down pit road. It's very unlikely, at least, if they're going to give up that track position. So, Steve Rubino in the lead of this thing after pit stops. He's in a good spot up front. That's really where you want to be.
Well, Wade Driscoll, he was on the pit lane when that caution came out, Tommy, so he got his service there before the yellow flag flew, didn't go a lap down, and will have the lead now for the restart.
A little bit of Martin Truex Jr. timing on that one.
Not going to repeat what old James Small said, though. Don't believe the censor Bristol would like that. Folks, make sure you vote in that poll who you think will win this Indiana 200. Right now, it's Wade Driscoll out front, Steve Rubino in second, and it's the 24 of Sean Fay. Tom Fastcow's there in fourth. Ron Milky, I believe he's a lap or two down.
He's one lap down. Sean Fay also a lap down. So just 6 cars on the lead lap right now, Joe.
How many cars? How many cars retired after that event?
Looks like we had 2 more retirees, the 59 and the 19. So, man, tough break for Reese and for Weston after that one.
Folks, Herman Reese is currently leading our Who Will Win the Indiana 200 poll, so I would advise you to switch your vote. And vote for Steve Rubino or Wade Driscoll.
Or other.
Nah, we didn't do another on this one.
We didn't do another? Well, you never know, Joe.
You never know. I guess if you think someone else is going to win, put it in chat.
There you go. And Wade Driscoll, with that lucky pit stop here, up in the lead. Now let's see what he can do. First time for him leading tonight.
First time leading tonight, and it's going to be, well, it's going to be a new sight for him out front. It's going to be a new handling race car, too, so something to watch here. If that 78 can hold on now that he doesn't have the markers in front of him here for the restart. Green flag, we're back underway. Here comes lap 65 of 80. 16 laps to go.
The lap car Sean Fay lined up third, so it's actually going to spread that field out quite a bit back to third place, and Tom Goodman in the 33. Really, really good there if you're Driscoll or Steve Rubino, because that's going to give you plenty of room back to your competitors.
We got another crash. Bino up and over, Palmer involved.
And another violent wreck here at Indianapolis.
Well, the year-end crash comp is getting some new entries.
We have seen some crazy ones tonight. That is for sure.
It's these cars, man. It's so easy to misjudge where you are behind the wheel of these race cars, and just looks like that's another instance of it.
Yeah, and any little bit of contact is really detrimental. It can end in disaster, as we've seen tonight, for sure.
But hey, if you're Wade Driscoll, you don't mind running under caution a couple more laps, right?
No, definitely not. That's helpful. And, if you're Driscoll and Rubino up front, you like that restart, getting all that room back towards the rest of the field. But I guess we'll just have to do it again here as we close in on the finish of this race.
This is one of those nights where I'm glad I'm not out there on the track.
Well, I wouldn't mind being on the track if it's at this point in the race.
And you still
but
got
if
a clean
I'm already
car?
in the hauler, then maybe we'll think differently about that one. So far, the fastest lap in the Indiana 200 tonight has been set by that 33 of Tom Goodman from Wisconsin for RV Solar Racing. He's set a blistering pace, draft aided of course, but of a 2:24.590 miles an hour around here. You have to go a full mile an hour back to Ron Milke in the 60 car for our second fastest lap of the event tonight. Lots of pace here out on the racetrack.
Well, good story there with the 33. Goodman, Fast Cows, as he's known, was out of the race car, in the hospital, came back, won at Barber, crushing the field in the words of Roger Nebelsick. Then was readmitted, obviously back out now and having another good run here tonight at Indianapolis. Good story there.
Definitely a great story there. Good to see him having a good run. Fastest lap so far. Can he translate that into a win? Who knows?
How many lead changes do you think we've had tonight?
A lot, Joe. We have had a lot of lead changes. I don't know. I
The
don't
record's 12.
I think we've definitely broken that. I do believe.
That was set in the July event, in the July Indiana 200 last year. Folks, remember, if maybe you want an IndyCar diecast, maybe you want a NASCAR diecast, I don't know. You can head on over to Circle B Diecast, though. I do know that you can use code JTN at checkout on your order of $20 or more. You'll receive free shipping on that order. You'll also be helping support us right here on JTN. Make sure you head on over to our friends at CircleBdiecast.com. They are the best in the business. They're the ones you want to buy from no matter what you're buying. CircleBdiecast.com, code JTN at checkout, free shipping on that order of $20 or more.
Going to be looking to get that Daniel Hemrick race win vehicle in my possession, Joe.
Me too.
That was extremely, extremely special. For championship or not, the fact that he was able to win is a big deal.
Yeah.
But just to put, that Xfinity Series title to his name on top of it all is pretty sweet. He most certainly deserves it.
That will be the first race twin diecast I will get that I wasn't able to watch the race for, just because it was so special seeing him knowing that he got that first victory. We'll never have to be asked that question again of when are you going to win, and to win the champion nonetheless. Special night for him in that 18 team. Did you know, and it came out, he said it during his post-race conference, and I don't think this was public knowledge until then, he was only getting paid if he finished up inside the top 5 this year.
I did know that, and I am not surprised whatsoever. So, I mean, truth be told, a lot of these guys, I'm surprised they even do have a clause like that where they're getting paid at all, really. But that's...
My goodness, Tommy. That was a little rude.
I know, that's just the way racing is these days. But hey, we're about to go green here at the Indiana 200. Wade Driscoll, the Cheese Motorsports 78 up front, leading the way. We're back green.
It's got Hobo Racing, Steve Rubino there in second, with Ricky Bumbleau as well for Hobo Racing in third. So those two teammates might be working together here, Tommy.
Yeah, that's going to be very advantageous for them. You got to imagine that if one makes a move, the other's not going to try and capitalize on that. He's probably going to help follow him so they can be 1 and 2 from there on, all bets are off. But certainly very nice to have your teammate helping you out, though. Ricky Bumble, of course, involved in some incidents earlier, might have some damage slowing down that 85.
Might not be able to hold on, but right now sitting in third, that's still a good night for them with all the chaos that has occurred here tonight. Rubino catching Driscoll. It's a two-car race right now for the win, for the lead, with 11 laps to go in this race.
Rubino looking, shading to the inside of Driscoll. Just imagining himself in victory lane, pouring milk all over his face. He's got one more spot to get before he can do that, and just over 10 laps to go for that to be a reality, but those are some very difficult things to contend with. Here comes Rubino to the inside of Driscoll.
He'll make the pass coming off of turn 4. Crowd screaming, ah, ah, ah. You hear him chanting, clapping, Tommy, as it's 10 laps to go.
Well, that's right, and as we take this 10 to go here, sponsored by GardenLightsDirect.com. It's the TWB 10 to go. Folks, from porches to patios and more, for all of your outdoor lighting needs, go visit GardenLightsDirect.com on the web. They've got what you need for seasonal holiday lights and more. Check them out. GardenLightsDirect.com. That's your TWB 10 to go.
Rubino loving to hear that the laps are ticking off. Driscoll wanting more time to try to find a way back around this 34 for the lead as we head down the front straightaway. 9 to go this time at the line. Can Rubino hold on for the win?
Our leaders are definitely pulling away from the rest of the field. Bumbelow there, a second back in third, and then got to go 4.5, almost 5 seconds back to our main pack, the peloton, if you will. So for our leaders, it's looking like it's just going to be a mono battle here for the end. And all the glory that comes with the race win.
A lot of glory. You're bound for glory if you can win this race. You set yourself up for a run at a championship with a win here tonight. It's everything and more here with the IndyCars and ASRA, and just 8 more times around this Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
8 times around, still a long way to go on the mileage counter, and even though these speeds are well in excess of 200 miles an hour, Joe, it's going to feel like an eternity for those behind the wheel.
Doesn't help that it's a 2.5 mile track, does it?
No, not at all. Driscoll sitting in second place right now. He wants to get back to the lead, but maybe waiting a little bit till the right opportunity. I can't wait too long, but Joe, it's going to be important to make the right move, because with time running out, you got to make sure it's one that you can stick and get a good run off the turn number 2 or turn number 4 to help you down the straightaway is probably his best bet, so he can make a move into 1 or 3 is my guess.
Yeah, it's about getting the momentum down these long straightaways so you have the opportunity going into those odd numbered corners. Those runs are few and far between, though. We saw how hard it was for Rubino to try to make a pass on Driscoll. We saw how hard it was for him to make a pass on Reese, vice versa, Driscoll to make a pass at anyone that's been up front. You have to really be concise with how you make that pass, where you put your car. It's a science right behind the wheel. You talked about it being a chess game at the start of this thing, but right now these guys are getting ready to play some high-speed checkers because it's going to be a lot of quick moves.
Yeah, absolutely. The clock is ticking, and both for Rubino and Driscoll, your next move is always going to be it's going to be impactful, whatever you decide to do. Do you block low? Do you try and carry your momentum high? Here comes Driscoll peaking on the low side in turn number 3, just letting Rubino know he is there, filling up his side mirrors with that 78 machine.
Well, your next move has to be your best move, Tommy, because it's going to most likely be your last move at this point, as we're 5 laps to go in this race. You got to find that way if you're Driscoll right now. In second, he looks to the inside again down the south chute. Not able to get anything going there. He drops back a little bit now, trying to get a run down the back straightaway to maybe set something up coming off of turn 4.
And this time by, just going to be 10 miles left in the Indiana 200. These guys have been racing all night long for a chance at this win. It's taking a toll on a lot of these drivers, and only 2 are here fighting at the end of it all. Wade Driscoll in that 78 with Steve Rubino up front. The winner still not decided yet, but Rubino's got a really good run here in the lead. Can he hang on to it, Joe? Let's find out.
He's got a lot of speed as we head down the back straightaway. Driscoll continues to look high, look low. He looks low once again. Heading down into turn number 3. It looks like he's there. He doesn't have enough, though. Gets back in line through the center of the corner.
Well, very close right there, and I think Rubino might have something to expect from Driscoll. What kind of move he's going to make. Driscoll trying to get a good run out of turn number 4. Not going to follow him in the draft. He's actually going to be looking high. With Rubino blocking that low side. And I'll tell you what, Driscoll actually got about his front wing to the rear tire of Rubino that time.
Well, he's going to have a lot of momentum this time coming off of turn number 2, running that high line through 1. Might have gave him a little extra speed. Rubino continues to fade low to try to keep that 78 from getting underneath him. You can defend a guy on your outside a little bit easier than a guy on your inside, and right now Rubino doing a master job of maintaining this lead. Can Driscoll find a way around as this time we will hit the line for 2 to go?
Driscoll getting really low on turn 4, using all of that curb down below. He's got to be careful with it, but it's working out so far. Rubino takes that 2 laps to go signal from the flag man, and you're almost here at the end. It's getting really tense now. If you're Driscoll, I think you got to prepare for one more final move.
Knees are weak, palms are sweaty. Hopefully there's not vomit on his sweater already. Rubino continues to lead, 1.5 laps to go. Driscoll with a big move to the inside, down into 3. He's there, Tommy.
Oh man, Driscoll just putting his nose in there. They touch. Rubino up and over, sliding on the top of his halo. Coming around that 78 of Driscoll.
We stay green.
Taking the white flag and a tough end to a great opportunity to win for that 34 car.
As Driscoll comes off a turn at number 2, it'll be his last time down the back straightaway here in 2021 for the Indiana 200. Ken Rourke, Brian Webb, Patrick Fogel, Brent Sweet, Frankie Stickley, Richard Fenkel, and Josh Boyer. Those are the 7 drivers that have won this race in the past. And now, add his name to the list. Coming off of turn number 4 to the Yard of Bricks, Wade Driscoll will win the Indiana 200.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be a lot to talk about with that move to
and
get him
Palmer's
in that
around.
position.
Palmer's around, Tommy, on the pit lane.
Boy, and that was coming to the checkered, so Palmer going to lose a spot, I think. Maybe a few.
Oh, and it's contact with the 33. Here's a replay. My goodness.
Well, an interesting finish here to the Indiana 200 in 2021. A lot of hard racing at the end, the margin so thin, the speed so high. Your podium finishers: Tom Goodman in 3rd, Ricky Bumbleau 2nd, and Wade Driscoll taking home the top crown tonight.
Doing the reverse burnouts down the back front straightaway. My goodness, what a finish. So Driscoll wins, he'll drink the milk, he'll kiss the bricks, he'll talk with us here on JT, and I think that's probably the best thing that he's going to do here. We'll move on to our post-race results, talk with our podium finishers, and Tommy, what a race.
It was not an expected finish, I think, from any standpoint, whether that be the drivers at the end of the race that were still in it, the ones who had a chance to win, and the way it finished up, a lot of positions changing in just that final lap.
Just that final, I mean, coming to the white flag, you have the contact there for the lead, right? And then that final lap, you have the podium finishers get completely shook up. Man, oh man, oh man. Get those results on your screen momentarily. Tommy, looks like we're starting to be joined by some of our top finishers. Take your pick. Who are you talking to first?
Well, first and foremost, Joe, let's talk to our winner tonight of the 2021 Indiana 200, Wade Driscoll, for that Cheese Motorsports 78 team, taking the victory tonight. Wade, congratulations. Talk about that last lap there behind Rubino.
Thanks, Tommy. Last lap was all right. Just got to run on the back straight, got inside him. Then something happened in 3 or 4, I forgot. And it just not happened. We got the win.
Well, you had a phenomenal run on that back straightaway. We talked with Joe towards the end there, talking about how now was going to be the time to make the move. You got to set it up for one more, and you had to be aggressive, and got the position there, and ultimately won the race. Kind of a barn burner. A lot of incidents throughout it. A lot of guys retiring. How was that 78 team able to stay safe and get their car to the finish tonight?
Just kept it safe, kept it near the back of the field until the last couple laps, or last run, and just kept it clean, kept it nice. Good pit crew, good everything.
Talk about those wrecks, they were crazy here tonight. What, I know the strategy obviously for you is to stay towards the back, let everything kind of sort itself out, but kind of talk about what was the defining moment of this race for you?
I'd say those last 2 runs, and when Herman spun going into the pits, I kind of got lucky, got trapped in the pits. Let me come out in the front. I don't think I would have had it if that hadn't happened. But yeah, just got lucky most of the time. Good, big couple wrecks. And yeah, that's all.
Couple big wrecks. You're down in victory lane. Last question. It's kind of it's kind of semantics, but what kind of milk are you drinking?
Just 1% low-fat white milk.
Wade, congratulations on the victory here tonight. Before we let you go, though, the floor is yours. Sponsors, family, friends. Floor is yours, buddy.
I'd like to thank Furniture Row, Cheese Motorsports, the 78 team, Tom and Roger for running this all. I don't think I got much else to thank. So.
Well, Wade, congratulations once again on the victory here tonight. You're now in the record books as the 8th winner of the Indiana 200. I know that feels great. Go celebrate with the rest of your team. And once again, congratulations and thanks for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you, Joe.
Wade Driscoll, your winner of the 2021 Indiana 200. Well, Tommy, we now move on to our second place finisher. He shares a name with one of our colleagues, doesn't he?
That's right. Well, it's Ricky Bumbalo on that 85 team. Had a great result tonight after quite the race. We saw a lot of action, like you heard from Wade Driscoll, talking about all the accidents, and the ones that got through it were the ones that were there to finish well at the end. Ricky, for your race tonight, what was the key to finishing in second?
Oh, I just got lucky. Sorry to Greg and the number 8 team for the wreck at the start that caused the big one. That's pretty much, I was involved in almost all the big wrecks, and I just got very lucky at the end when Fast Cow and Doug Palmer got together to finish second. My car was super damaged. I didn't have nothing for anybody. I just got lucky to not finish second.
Well, finishing second here tonight, yeah, it's about luck, but also you put yourself in good positions throughout the race. Because you were up front, right? You were up front kind of battling with those guys inside the top 5. How would you describe the intensity on track tonight?
It was quite a bit intense. I know my buddy Josh, we was racing pretty hard. He'd block a little bit, and then I finally got around him, so I blocked a little bit. And at some point in time, my car got really loose coming out of 4, coming to halfway point, and it just spun out right in front of everybody. Don't think Josh touched me, but it was very odd. I got loose coming out, and that caused the big one. I know it took him out and a couple others out. But it was very intense even before any cars got damaged at the very start. I was trying to take it easy. I at one point, like I said, I did get into the 8, but he did check up a little bit. It seemed like, and I couldn't get off of him fast enough. But it's still on me. And then we started going back after that big crash, and it's still pretty intense. And towards the end, it was still intense for some.
Well, it was an intense race throughout. It was a great racing throughout, Ricky. You did a fantastic job here tonight, because I know it definitely wasn't easy here from Indianapolis. And congratulations once again, a podium finish, nothing to snuff at. Congratulations once again on that. And before we let you go, the floor is yours, sponsors, family, friends, whoever you got to thank. Now it's time to do so.
Congratulating Wade on getting the win. That's good for him. Thanks for Tom and Roger here for TMP, and Rich. I know he's not here tonight. And also thank Steve and Dan Rubino with their sister group at Hobo for everything they do, and everything for you guys do for putting this on for everybody to see, whether we're good or making buttholes of ourselves. Hope everybody enjoyed it, and just thank you guys.
Hey, it was our pleasure, Ricky, and we're so glad that you're going to be part of the team bringing us out to Daytona on December the 20th. Congratulations once again on the second place run here tonight, and thanks for talking with us.
Yeah, on that Talladega and Daytona races, when we go Talladega, it's going to be a Days of Thunder style themed race. I got a bunch of cars made up for everybody to race, and Daytona is going to be a Days of Thunder themed race. So hopefully we can get everybody who watches JTN to come out and enjoy a Ricky Bobby night and a Cold Trickle night.
Hey, they'll have to make sure they go pop some popcorn or maybe go to their favorite movie theater. Ricky, once again, congratulations on the great run here tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Ricky Bumbalo, your second place finisher in that 85 Marlboro, easy enough for me to say, Chevrolet for Hobo Racing. We now bring in Tommy. You brought him in. Our third place finisher, driver the number 33, Fast Cow. Buddy,
Hey.
I mean, you were fast tonight, huh?
I was until lap 10, and I lost about 5%, but a lot of people lost a lot more than me, so I got lucky. But got to apologize to the dog. I hit him hard, hit him more than once, and I tried to give him a position back at the end, and then I ended up hitting him in the ass. That stupid box. Oh my god!
Was that part of the issues tonight with the kind of the way to kind of break the immersion for folks at home with the way the hitbox is with this mod? Was that kind of maybe part of the issue with some of those bigger crashes?
I'm sure it is. That's because typically when we run the other cars, we don't run into each other in the back.
Mm-hmm.
We'll run into the sides or whatever. But it's just that Indy car is just slightly smaller in that frame, in that digital framework. And so, our usual habit is to get up close. And then I just stupidly, dog told me to go around him, and I didn't turn enough, and I hit him in the left rear tire, and then he was sitting in the middle of the track like a.
Hey, he was trying to be nice, and you didn't want him to be nice to you, right? You're not supposed to let people give up positions. That's what you should tell him. That's what he gets for trying to let you by. That's what I would say.
He wouldn't even talk. He wouldn't even talk to me at the end.
Well, that's okay.
That's all right. I still apologize.
Hey, so if you throw a dog a bone, eventually he'll come back to you. But, I mean, it's been a fan. You won at Barber earlier this year. I know it's kind of been an up and down year with your being able to come out and sim race. Is it kind of therapeutic to have a good run here tonight?
Oh yeah, man. I really missed driving for that couple of 2-3 weeks there.
And
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, third place is a good finish, especially considering, like you said, lap 10 wreck. I mean, those big wrecks, they were crazy, man. That's like my biggest takeaway from tonight right now. Just the way it seemed like, you guys were out there racing, and I think it really goes to show how much I think everyone wanted to win this race and do well in this race. Because that intensity level on track, it felt like it was at an all-time high.
Yeah. I'll tell you another thing I was thinking about. A lot of people were awfully loose or twitchy with their cars, and mine was rock solid. Now, I put the steering ratio way down to 12-1, like an Indy car is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching other people in front of me and behind me just going back and forth a whole car width back and forth in the turns. And I'm going like, that's got to be, dead on center play in the wheel. And if the default was 22-1, and that was way too loose for me. And I know it depends on the wheel and your, profile for your wheel, but it just seemed to me that people were looser than they should have been. I couldn't make mine spin if I'd tried. Full out all the way around, even in the draft, never lifting off except if I was going to hit somebody.
Well, unfortunately, the early incident kind of handicapped your night for the rest of it, but able to rally back to a third-place finish. Tom, congratulations on the podium run here tonight. But before we let you go, the floor is yours. You know what to do. You've been up here plenty of times.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, I want to thank Roger and Tom for putting this on for us, and I just enjoy the heck out of this. And if I was in last place, I'd still have a smile on my face. But I got that third place. I was hoping for a top 5, and I got it.
Hoping for a top 5, got a top 3, got to talk with us here on JTN. Tom, Fast Cows, congratulations once again on the great run here tonight, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Hey, thanks for putting it on, buddy.
And Tommy, that concludes our coverage here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What a race.
Yeah, I had everything. All right, I had some huge incidents all throughout the night. Some unexpected finishing and a lot of guys leading the race at one point or another. And yeah, so quite the event here tonight. The Indiana 200 for 2021 is in the books.
And Wade Driscoll adds his name to that illustrious list of winners of this race. And that's got to feel good for that entire 78 crew. They had the right strategy tonight. Stay out of the way, stay out of trouble, make your way to victory lane. They did it. They get to drink the milk, and they get to soak in this win for an entire year before we come back in 2022. I think this race lived up to the hype. I think it lived up to being one of the best races of the year, if not the best. It was definitely one of my favorite to watch this year, and can't thank the guys at the ASRA, of course, Tom Musa, Roger Nebelsack, all the guys that get this thing to work here, as well as with TMP, and for having us out. Can't thank those folks enough. But with all that being said, can't thank you fans at home enough for tuning in here tonight on a Monday night. Can't end the broadcast without saying, make sure if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. For Bristol, our producer, for Tommy Bordeaux, I've been Joe Twansky. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time, of course, live right here on JTN. So long for now, folks. Yeah, and they're going to be 3 wide coming to the checkered. Never mind, they're going to be... Oh,
in Maverick!
they're wide!
Who did that?
Turn 4 into the tri-oval. Whitehill is through the grass. It's going to be Noah Joyce winning his first career race in the Red Bull Cup Series.
All right, and they're wrecking behind them. We got cars flying everywhere. Cars upside down, but it doesn't matter. Noah Joyce has done it. He's won at Daytona in the 3 car.
Musa's gonna...
Oh, he's going to use that apron!
He's gonna use the apron!
They're going to be side by side! Coming off the corner! Boy, back to the inside. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Musa gets it.